In the new year of 1933, January 30th, Adolf Hitler was elected president. Though many didn't realize it, his reign was going to bring the greatest terror this world has ever seen. Before his election in 1919, Germany had a big loss in World War I. They were forced to give up many of their rights to sign a peace treaty named the Treaty of Versailles. Though humiliated by Germany's defeat, Hitler secretly plots his plan and clears his path towards the most atrocious war in our history. The story of Warsaw during World War II. As a way to show Germany's defiance for signing the treaty, besides breaking the pen in Zurich before signing, Hitler makes his military forces go into Rhineland, a city along the Rhine River in West Germany. Britain and France force Hitler to stay back and give up Rhineland or else war, and Hitler obeys. Hitler wants vengeance. His Nazi party seizes the part of Germany lost from World War I, breaking the treaty. In 1935, he broke the treaty again and recaptured Rhineland. Through force, Hitler also managed to annex his home country, Austria, in 1937. In 1930, Hitler invades Poland. Britain and France declare war on Germany. And then, World War II begins. At 4:45 a.m., some 1.5 million German troops invade Poland's 1,750-mile border. General Luftwaffe bombed Polish airfields. German warships attacked Polish naval forces. Adolf Hitler claims the massive invasion was a defense action. Britain and France were not convinced. They declared war on Germany, initiating World War II. To Hitler, the conquest of Poland would bring Lebensraum, or living space, for the racially superior Germans. They would colonize the territory and the Slavs would be enslaved, to create more German expansion. To try and neutralize the possibility France and England would fight, they signed a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union. In a secret clause, the Soviet Union and Germany agreed to capture Poland and then divide it between them. On August 26th, Hitler gave orders to start the invasion of Poland. But on August 27th, he delayed the attack, for he had learned that Britain signed a new treaty with Poland, promising military support should it be attacked. Hitler turned to propaganda and misinformation. He and his Nazi party started to bring up war on Poland. What's your full name?
What's my full name?
Yeah.
Henry S. Fitzpatrick. All that was written about World War II is not true. Generally, propaganda. And I remember what Adolf Hitler said.
Yeah.
Die Juden haben den Krieg gemacht.
Whoa.
That was his favorite expression. The Jews have started the war.
Fearing imminent attack, Poland began to call up its troops. Britain persuaded Poland to postpone until August 31st. They were wrong. On August 31st, Nazi SS troops wearing Polish uniforms staged a phony invasion of Germany, damaging several minor buildings on the German side of the border. They also killed many concentration camp prisoners. This is known as the False Flag Operation. The Nazi propagandists publicized this as an unforgivable act of violence. The Germans invade, smashing through enemy lines. The Polish are hopelessly defeated on September 1st. By September 8th, they reach the outskirts of Warsaw. They advance 140 miles into Warsaw, while the Soviet Union reaches the eastern suburb of Warsaw. The Polish try and revolt, with an army of 40,000 poorly supplied soldiers. According to Hitler's orders, the small army was obliterated, and the city was razed. The Nazis killed 3/4 of the revolting army and 200,000 citizens. The German troops had destroyed a few buildings which still remained intact, and all of its greatest treasures were looted. The Nazis killed 3/4 of the revolting army and 200 citizens. The German troops had to destroy a few buildings which remained intact, and all of its greatest treasures were looted. On Rosh Hashanah Day, a Jewish holiday, Hitler was extra cruel and set 20 blocks of the Jewish quarter aflame. Many homeless people crowded the streets with no belongings and no food. Dead bodies were laid out all over the sidewalk. Broken glass was shattered everywhere, and collapsed buildings were seen all over the city. Many changes were enforced in Warsaw when the Nazis came to power. Hitler once again turned to propaganda in the mission to sway the public's opinions. They made posters and fake works of art discriminating Jews. They tried to convince the public that Jewish people were subhuman. Soon after, Hitler ordered for Jewish professors, artists, writers, politicians, and priests from Warsaw to be massacred. According to Hitler, this created more living space for Hitler's so-called superior German race. The Nazi Party resettled the Jewish in Warsaw to cramped, dirty ghettos, while German families moved into emptied Polish lands. One of the worst actions Hitler did was kidnap more than 50,000 German-looking children from Poland and sent them to Germany to be adopted by German families. Most of the children were later rejected as Germans and sent to concentration camps, where they died of starvation, lethal injection, or disease. Lots of segregation was also enforced during this time period. Jewish families were ripped from their homes and forced to move to the dumpiest area in town. The Nazis created a giant wall around the area and labeled it the Warsaw Ghetto. Another part was the segregation. Hitler restricted parks from Jews, as well as movie theaters or high-class restaurants. After the segregation, Hitler wanted to empty the Warsaw Ghetto and sent hordes of Jews to concentration camps, where they worked for hours with not much food and in terrible conditions. Not only Jewish, but many gypsies were sent to these camps. Not only were there concentration camps, but a various number of death camps. The two most notorious near Warsaw were named Treblinka and Auschwitz. Here, many Jews and gypsies died. Hitler was cruel in the way he killed. He used lethal injection, starvation, disease, and gas chambers. Things were not looking up for the Allies, and it feels like almost all hope was lost. Finally, after a few years of war, Britain and France were relieved. America has come to help. Do you remember the day America entered the war?
December 7th, 1941.
What?
The Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. And the US of A said, "You can't do that to us. We're going to shoot you down." Sam took me right out of high school and put me in the Battle of the Bulge.
So What's your full name?
Herbert Foster.
Do you remember the day you heard that America entered the war?
Well, December 7th, 1941, like most people, we didn't know where Pearl Harbor was.
Yeah.
So it was quite a surprise.
Yeah.
It was quite a surprise. And, World War II was the war that really brought all of the United States together. All of a sudden we were,
Oh, yeah. You got to know each other.
what was the, one world
Yeah.
was the expression.
What is your full name?
Walter Vincenti. I was doing research work, and it was not, it was simply increased by the war.
What research did you do?
I was doing research on aircraft, wind tunnel. At Moffett Field, we had some of our first wind tunnels, and we would do research work on the new aircraft.
Cool. America, Britain, and France started counterattacking. Also, the German Navy was on strike. On the 8th of May, 1945, the Allies had accepted Germany's surrender. A few weeks after Hitler's suicide in the underground bunker. After a while of the Allies gaining, Germany sent an armistice agreeing for peace and the military forces to leave. Finally, the war had come to an end. People were celebrating on the street in Britain, France, America, Austria, and Poland, where Warsaw was. Warsaw civilians were out on the streets cheering. The war was finally over. The prisoners from Warsaw were released and rescued from death camps. The ghetto walls were taken down. The crime-hardened Nazis were imprisoned or fleeing the country. A while after, the city realized there was a lot of work to be done to help restore the city to its pre-war beauty. Hitler's army had bombed 85% of the city and had obliterated the Polish culture. They started with the construction of Old Town into an urban agricultural farm. They took much care for this. This new city was built as a symbol of authority and tolerance, and it also is where the first European Constitution of May 310791 was adopted. The reconstruction includes the city walls, townhouses, the royal castle, and other religious buildings. World War II is a scar etched into our history as one of the deadliest and malicious wars. If we don't learn, history can repeat itself. All it takes is one twisted mind like Adolf Hitler. After coming back from Germany over winter break, my family and I watched the movie, The Pianist, based off a real Warsaw Holocaust survivor. "It's a disgrace to us all," he almost screamed. "We're letting them take us to our death like sheep to the slaughter. At least we could break out of the ghetto, or at least die honorably, not as a stain in the face of our history." The Holocaust survivor quotes, Władysław Spielman. The death of so many will not be forgotten, for there will always be reminders of the times before us. We must make the best out of a tragedy. So learning from the war might not bring the lives back, but it helps give the people who fought more meaning in life.